This is my 2 cent. My name is Amerson, and I'll be giving you my 2 cent. I'm gonna try to keep this short. It probably won't be that short because I tend to be long-winded. But I'm starting this project. It's called the My02cent Life Planner. It's a okay. So My02cent is a channel that is dedicated to applied science. The core principle of My02cent is self-improvement through self-education, because we live in a world, individually we all have ambitions and desires. When you're a child, when you're a kid, you live your life and you want to contribute, you want to give back. Some people are able to more easily and more effectively be contributing members to society, and some people are not. There are rich and there are poor. There are people that are healthy and there are people that are not healthy. There is an extreme economization in life in general that transcends the human condition and influences the human condition. But then there is the human condition itself, and there's a disconnect within that dynamic that I've observed growing up that I don't really fully understand. So I spend most of my life trying to understand why it's hard for us to live the values that we define for us, right? We say that you should be good, you should be decent, you should be humble, you should be honest, you should be respectful, you should be helpful, you should be of service. But then we don't do any of those things. We don't, in general, we're not as honest as we could be. In general, we don't actually go out to make sure we are as healthy as we should be. So I looked at life and tried to understand how to be the best version of myself. And as I move through this world to embody the principles and the core philosophies of what I have been told makes for good humanity, I didn't get anywhere. I'm still not getting anywhere. I'm living in my car. So after the greatest adversity I had in life was paying child support. Apart from just generally being an African American living in America, dealing with the unnecessary extra BS on top of being human, because you have to navigate this underlying difficulty that doesn't have to exist. You have to navigate this underlying difficulty that doesn't have to exist. I'm 42, and when I was younger, I saw how things didn't move the way that they were supposed to. But I continue to be honest, I continue to be kind, I continue to be respectful, I continue to be obedient, I continue to be humble, not break the law, things of that nature. And the more I did that, the more I saw outside of me no one was doing that. And I noticed, especially being a young person, that's why My02cent is not for children. It's for 18 and above. It's actually for 18 to like 25. I noticed that the more you do the right thing, the more you suffer for it. And then it's a corrupting influence. So the more you try to stand fast in being honest, kind, respectful, the more pushback you get from everyone around you, and then eventually you corrupt yourself and you fall into compliance with cutting corners, breaking the law if you feel like you can get away with it, stealing just a little bit, like these are the things that I see other people around me doing. And the most important thing that I observe directly that nobody else does is they're not happy. The people around me are not happy. All the people around me in this world are not content with their life. I've never met anyone in life that was just chilling with life and okay with life. And it doesn't make sense to me why that has to be. Why do you have to do things and engage in behaviors that you're not even invested in for your own shortcomings and your own adversities? Why do you have to put energy into making your life difficult? We evolved the complexity of mind to solve complex problems, to enhance the quality of our lives. So why do we use that complexity in our awareness and our capacity to problem solve just to be okay with accepting different versions of the problems we're trying to avoid, right? And that's what I don't. That's the part that I don't understand. Why do we allow ourselves to fall into patterns of behavior and accept conditions that will just result in less than adequate? It's like we don't want to be inadequate, but we're okay with less than adequate. We don't want to starve to death, so we're okay with a perpetual state of hunger. Why is it this need of like, you know what the answers are, but you don't go for the answer? You settle for a different condition than what you're trying to achieve. And the conclusion I came to is it basically just boils down to ignorance. Because everyone is born, well, it comes down to two things. Ignorance, everybody is ignorant. And the other thing is ego. The belief that what you see outside of you isn't going to happen to you because you're different. Because you're not going to have to do that. You have this idea in your head like, that will never happen to me. You can watch 1 million people suffer a particular fate and believe that you are the exception to the rule. And the reasoning behind that I've come to is it's because of religion. Because you're told that you have to have a personal relationship with God. As an African American growing up in America, being taught that slavery lasted in America for 300 years, and a transatlantic slave trade perpetuated by Europeans across the globe to different nations also lasted for about 250 to 300 years as well. You want me and this has nothing to do with racism, it's just a general understanding of reality. You want me to believe that if I pray that I will get what I want from prayer, but you also want me to understand that Europeans went into Africa, kidnapped people, transport them all across the globe, and did atrocious things to them. They engaged in inhumane treatment of these people for multiple generations over the course of human history. And you want me to believe that the God that you gave them to pray to is my salvation in 2024. Well, not even 2024, all my life. All my life you've given me that narrative. And you want me to try to understand the reality. When I grew up, this is the city I'm in now is the city I grew up in. The city I'm in now functions. It has good governance. The people are human. And there's no dichotomization of class based on skin complexion. And that's the reality. Like, when you go into an environment, when I went into a McDonald's in Detroit and like, can I get a cup of water? And they gave me a cup this big for water because they don't want me to steal soda. And it's like, why would you, like, I live in America. I just want water. I feel like I should have the right as an American citizen to have access to free, clean water. And it's an arrogant ego thing to, you know what I mean? Like, even at that age, I understood, like, it's arrogant and egotistical of me to believe that I should be able to walk into an establishment and have water on tap for free when the vast majority of people on this planet don't get water. But the problem isn't that. It's you taught me that slavery, racism, discrimination, prejudice, all that stuff doesn't exist anymore. You said that that's not okay and that you shouldn't be treated that way because of your skin complexion. But when I walk into an environment in my own neighborhood, you treat me like shit at the age of 20 and 22. For what? For what? You can't look at me as a young 20-year-old man and recognize and respect that I'm trying to make it through this life. No, you want to continue to project stereotypes on me that's going to make it harder for me to function at a normal level. Why would you not just give me a cup for water? Can't you tell that I'm not the crackhead that's coming in here trying to steal pop? Can't you tell that I'm a customer that was here yesterday and bought product from you? Like, I don't want to have to come here every day and spend money. I want to be a patron of this establishment, but I shouldn't have to come to this establishment every day and spend money, right? And you think that it's okay to just give me this little bitty cup for water because you don't want me to steal, right? Fast forward to when I was working at Arby's. I was working at Arby's not even a year or two ago, and we have customers that would come through and they would try to use the same tickets again. These are all Caucasians. They're all trying to get over on the system. And so they'll say, can I have a cup for water? And the manager, the other manager, the females I work with, they would get them a small cup for water. Well, the way our machines were designed, it made a very specific sound when you would get a soda or when you would get water. The sound was different because the activation of the device inside were different mechanisms to trigger either soda or water. So every time the manager would hear them go over there with their cup and get water, she would say something to them. Hey, you asked for water, you have to pay for pop, right? So she calls the supervisor and explains the situation. You know what the supervisor's response was? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because we're in the community of Caucasians, so it's okay for them to come in here and every so often just, steal some pop. Don't worry about it. It's never a problem until you see it as a problem in the computer. Then once you see it in the computer, now it becomes a problem and you're going to be mad at us like we didn't do our job. But you're not giving them the same level of disrespect and lower treatment that you would give to someone that looks like me. And that's what makes it racism. When you engage in a different type of personality, when you choose to be a little bit nicer to this person because of how they look versus this person because of how they look, that's just been attracted to somebody, right? But when you know that you're gonna go out of your way to affect someone's livelihood and the quality of their life based on how they look, that's racism, right? And being discriminative and prejudiced isn't never okay. It wouldn't be okay for me to be treated that way regardless. Like, it shouldn't matter how you look or what your gender is. You should be a good person all the time. And that's kind of the point of My02cent. That's what the life planner is about. It's about how do I actively be a good person all the time? How do I know when it's the most appropriate to be a good person? And because church just wants you to give them their money and they're putting on a nice show for you, and they want to sell you the idea that you can buy your way into heaven, they're not helping us be good people, right? The biggest problem in the world is that there's just not enough good people in the world. The biggest thing that could change the world tomorrow is more honesty, more integrity, and more good people. That's it. There doesn't need to be anything fancier than that. If people knew how to be respectful, if people knew how to be humble, if people knew when it was the most appropriate to say things that were kind to people, when someone could take honest, constructive criticism, you don't have to be mad at me because of your inability to do something if I am in a position to criticize you and correct your behavior for the general good of whatever it is that's going on, right? You don't have to lash out and be disrespectful all the time. So there's actually nothing wrong. I'm just chilling in my car. I'm homeless right now. I need to save $4,000 so I can pay off an eviction so I can buy a house. I'm just living life. 42. The world doesn't want to understand how basic things should function and work. So I started My02cent for that. The problem is that when I started My02cent about 20 years ago, because I was paying child support, I don't pay child support anymore. Everything kept changing around me. The dynamic just kept changing around me. So as the dynamic changed around me, I couldn't really keep up because of the extra adversity. So here we are. I've been trying to figure out what to do, how to do it, and I think I finally reached a place of how and why I can do it. Applied science is the goal. Like if you could just I've lived my life using the principles of science to govern myself. That's what the My02cent life planner is. And the things that I know now, if I would have known them when I was younger, I would have been able to make better decisions. My02cent life planner. Understanding that stuff is where it gets, is the core of it all. And what happens that I'm seeing is when you're young and you're trying to figure it out, you don't have the answers, you make mistakes. How do you not make mistakes? You were born without all of the information. People take advantage of you. Being taken advantage of is not a mistake. You're doing the best you can with the information and resources that you have. If someone takes advantage of you, there's nothing that you can do about that. If an older person sees you and recognizes, oh, this person's young and dumb, and let me just, take advantage of them real quick, that's not a failing on your part. But you will internalize that like you failed. That's not a failing on your part. That's a failing on that older person's part. That's a failing of that older person. The older person should be able to look at you and say, when I was his age or when I was her age and I was dealing with this very specific thing, I wish somebody older than me would have given me this information. But here's the other counterbalance to that. Young people are arrogant and hard-headed and don't fucking listen, right? Why haven't we, the elders, addressed that issue? Why haven't we addressed that issue? When I was a young person, I was arrogant and full of myself and thought I had all the answers, but I listened. That's the biggest difference between me and everybody else. I listened to the people around me. I listened to older people give me advice. I tried to do the best with what I had. The advice that was being given to me wasn't working for me because of my skin complexion. It doesn't matter if I get good advice from a Caucasian male because I don't live in the world that he lives in. His good advice isn't applicable to me because of my skin complexion, unless we address that issue, right? Because it's not helping in any way. It's not benefiting us. The world is falling apart because we don't want to address the actual fundamental issues of society. So, My02cent Life Planner. That's the whole point. Applied the principles of science is not just like I believe, like if you can see outside it's foggy, there's a principle in science that explains how fog is formed, right? And it works all the time. There are things that I can know about the nature of reality right now because of my awareness of fog. It's an applied science. And the foundational core value of My02cent is based on that. I'm ranting and rambling like I said I would. I started this year wanting to do a run, a 40K run at the end of the year. And I was supposed to be documenting everything that's supposed to go into making sure that I was going to be successful in that, getting all the data together, getting all the numbers so that I could show the science behind how you plan, how you problem solve, how you know what you can do to maximize and minimize. But life is just in the way. Living and being alive is not the adversity. It's just the little miscellaneous nuances of it all. But the point of it is that I still have the data. I still did the thing. So what was supposed to happen, what was supposed to happen with the My02cent Life Planner was I was supposed to document every day, and I'm not doing that. I started recording my runs so that I can have an accurate way to say this is the runs that I was on, because I didn't actually run every day. I had the plan to run every day, but I didn't run every day. I started this in Michigan, in Detroit. I didn't plan to be in Vancouver, Washington, and at the end of the year, didn't plan for it. That's the reason why you have to plan. If you have a good idea of what you're trying to do in life and you're trying to move forward, you have to be able to be a good planner. I have always been a good planner, but I've always been a good planner in my head because I was never taught the value, not the importance, it's not important, but the value of documenting things, the value of being able to write something down and infer information from it later, or to be able to organize things in a way that is detached from yourself so that you can eliminate some of your bias. And the irony is that as a fast food worker, I used to do it all the time. Every day I would come in and I would write out my schedules and I would write stuff down and I would plan out things and I would have a good plan of execution, and I would know at this time I need to make sure that this person goes on break, and at that time I need to have this person come back, and it's important for this person to come back at this particular time, and if they don't come back at this time, what is my plan to address the issue of being short-staffed while I'm going to have an increased volume? Like, I've been doing this forever, and I've always been able to do it because it's been a core value of who I am, and I just never put two and two together because society is designed so that you won't. Corporations don't want you to come in and learn the tools to be successful, and then they treat you like shit, and then when you get on the finger and leave, they don't want you to take that knowledge and go do your own thing. They want you to continue to stay in that system. So we get enough information to be functional, but not enough information to be successful. And the My02cent Life Planner is about that. Like, you see those videos, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, and then just buy this book, and then you'll never have to worry about nothing. That's not how life works. Life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You can't just think that you can go on YouTube and see this video of this guy telling you about how he made $250,000 and then he's going to give you the answer. Why would he do that? Why would he give you that information so that you could compete against him? The truth is that he made $250,000 selling you the idea that he has the answer to how you can make $250,000 while simultaneously understanding that he doesn't have to actually give you anything. He's just convincing you to just give him money for no reason. And it's a fast, quick thing that people use against you. My02cent is not for children. Because if you think that you can watch a 30-second video and get something relevant out of life, you're not gonna get anywhere. You're not gonna get anywhere. It's not how life works. That is not how life has ever worked. The most important qualities of life are the ones that come very slow. And we're so busy living life as fast as possible for somebody else that we miss out. We just miss out because we're so busy trying to hurry up. Hurry up for what? What are you in a hurry for? What exactly is it that you're trying to hurry to? Are you trying to hurry to pay your rent? Are you trying to hurry to pay your bills? Are you trying to hurry to get to a job that you don't even want to be at? Like, what exactly is it that you're trying to do every day in your life? I want to design video games and produce comic books. Well, I want to design video games and write stories. The comic book thing was kind of what I'm talking about. It was the fastest way to try to get from where I am to where I want to be. If I make comics, people look at the images and they buy them faster. It's true. But the core value of the story still has to be there. So why even waste time? Why waste time from writing stories trying to develop another skill set when I could just sell stories? You get what I'm saying? Like, that makes more sense. That's more logical in the direction of what it is you're trying to do. So that's basically it. The basic gist and the basic spiel of this is every day I'm supposed to be writing and I'm not. So I'm going to start going live and recording videos. So that way, by the time the end of the year gets here and I actually do this 40K or this 100K run, the My02cent Life Planner at least will end in a better way than it began. So I need to organize, and it's hard to organize when you're sleeping in your car, working 2 jobs, 7 days a week, doing overtime. I worked yesterday from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. and I worked Friday 8 a.m. to 12 a.m., Saturday 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. and today I go in from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. and it's just a lot. So as always, my name is Paul Amerson and I've given you my 2 cents.